a recording of it. So today we're having a PRP-EHR Quality Records Management demonstration, which will lead to a training. So the purpose of this meeting is that a couple weeks ago it came up at a servant leader meeting that we had client notebooks, hard copy notebooks and server files, but their electronic health records were not thoroughly uploaded with all of the documentation that it should have in their client records. So Malika, Tracy, Ayo, Darlene, and I met last week on Friday. And we determined some additional documentation that should have a storage location in the MyEvolve system. And so what we did is we looked at this client medical records table of contents, and we identified all the places where there currently is a home for these documents and where there should be a home. And we identified whether there needed to be separate events because it was important for future workflows and compliance, or if this was an event that just needed to be labeled as part of another event. And so what Leslie and I have done is we've taken this wish list of documentation, and we have begun to draft a quality records management procedure. And so this procedure is going to be a very long procedure. At first, this was a temporary orientation procedure. So I'm sure that Malika is very familiar with, and I think that I trained Placida and Danielle on this temporary orientation compliance packet procedure. This was a temporary procedure designed to just upload one large orientation compliance document, but we have since separated out a lot of these events, and we've added additional things for funding documentation. So I have drafted this procedure. It starts off with some prerequisite context and definitions. Then it kind of goes into a definition of each of the 6 different sections of this procedure manual. Today, we're going to really focus on the first 3 sections. It's the orientation compliance section, an individual intake document upload section, and then the consuming funding documentation upload. This meeting is really purposed to demonstrate to you all that there are 2 options for you all: the update and upload client medical records in MyEvolve. You can either use an orientation compliance packet event where you are able to individually upload these documents. The most important is the intake compliance package, which is a large scanned document, or you can individually add these 8 different events to a client record. And one of the most important ones for this one is this consent for services. So that's the purpose of this meeting today, is to show you all how to upload one document or several documents. Can someone start us off in prayer? I'm sorry.
Nadia, right before you go to prayer, I thought that we agreed, we were waiting for today's meeting so that we would be able to just upload things separately so that later when we're building workflows, they would already be separately done. So we are not any longer going to exercise the part about uploading things together. Ayo sent an email about we will wait for today's meeting, and then after today, any new client would be uploaded with things listed out separately, like your second choice that you just showed us.
Okay. There still might be a need for us to revisit clients who only have orientation compliance packets and add additional things to their record. So it still is useful for me to go over this because we might want to go back to whatever Malika uploaded to add the acceptance letter or a service collaboration appeal or something else that might not be in that one scanned document file. So just as a quality assurance measure, I still want to go over both. And because I kind of built out this whole procedure and I haven't finished this individual one yet, it's all the same thing though. So can I get a volunteer for prayer?
So wait a minute. Okay, let's pray and then I have a comment.
I'll pray. As our hearts and minds are clear, let's go before the throne. Dear Heavenly Father, oh God, we thank you, oh God. First of all, for this morning rising, oh God. You didn't have to, oh God, because somebody didn't wake up this morning, oh God. So we are grateful, we are thankful, oh God, for life, health, and strength on this morning, oh God. And so, oh God, we thank you for this morning's rising. For this is the day, oh God, any day that we wake up to see a new day that you have made, and we will rejoice in and be glad in it, oh God. So Lord, as we go into this meeting, oh God, Lord, we want our hearts and our minds to be open, our hearts and our minds to be on one accord, oh God, so that this can be a productive meeting, and that, God, whatever we are here to receive, that we receive it, and that it is planted on good ground, oh God, so that we can move forward. Because, God, it's all about the kingdom. It's what we do for Christ that will last, oh God. So this is for your kingdom, oh God, for your people that we are here to serve, oh God. You have equipped us, you have prepared us, and you have made the way, oh God. And so, oh God, we are here surrendering unto you, oh God. So each person that facilitates, each person that speaks, oh God, in this meeting, oh God, let each thing fall on good ground, oh God, as we plant seeds and water. And oh God, it's for your service, that we are here, oh God. So we thank you, we honor you, and we bless you, and we adore you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So, Nadira, before you start, I want to say thank you for taking all the time that you have put into all of this, because this has been no easy feat. And just the amount of detail and everything that you and Leslie have done, I commend you and I appreciate you. And I appreciate, your guidance all the time, as I always tell you. I do agree a little bit with Tracy. I don't want to go over the two different kinds, because if they haven't learned that, I don't want to put that in their head to use, because that's not going to be the proper way or the standard once we up and running. As well as we don't want CARF to well, not even just CARF, because forget CARF, because CARF is going to use the server, but we just don't want to have two different methods. So I want to go with just the individualized, and let's add on if need be, please, because that other one I don't want to show them if it's okay with you.
Okay, so that sounds like I'm going to be building this procedure with you all. We're going to do it together. And
Thank you. And I'm kissing you all over your face and hugging you all over your neck.
okay.
Do you like it? Do you like it?
All right.
No, do you like it? I love it. I love you, Nadira.
Yeah.
Tell me you like it.
It's cool. It's cool.
No, it's do you like it? Do you love it? You don't love it. I gotta give you more.
So, here's a concern. Here's a concern that I have with uploading these individual documents, right? So, this what's on my screen here are the 8 individual events that we have created for you to upload events documents to. They're always going to be listed in alphabetical order, so advanced directive is always going to come before consent for services. However, the procedure probably should start with the consent for services, because that's the most important document, and the date fields in this event triggers workflows for other things as well. So that's why I kind of struggle starting with the individual document first, because, again, a procedure is not like a script, right? It's not like you have to read verbatim and memorize exactly all these steps sequentially. It's a guide for how you do your work in the MyEvolve system. So if things don't look exactly the way they look in the procedure manual, it's fine, because it's a guide for you all. So anyway, I'm just trying to let you all know that if I create this with you, the very first thing is going to be advanced directive, because alphabetical order. So let me just do this for you. Let me just show you this, for instance. I am currently logged in as Malika, and as Malika, I have access to both individual events and that orientation compliance packet event. I am not going to I'm not going to get rid of this orientation compliance packet event, because it's been in use for other clients, and it's important to our reports, right? But if I'm logged in as Malika and I have this client, big picture client, I have entered in all this client's demographics, the diagnosis, their benefit assignment, and now I want to individually upload and scan documents to their client record, right? So one of the first events I'm going to go to is consent for services. And I'm going to ensure that the consent for services date here is the date of the consents that I'm actually uploading to this client's record. The only real difference is that, so I'm going to add this consent for services date. We're going to ignore anything that's not bolded. So we don't have to enter in the expiration date. This approval sent to is only, and the procedure manual will say this, it's only if your supervisor says they want you to confirm that you have uploaded something to a client record. So if Io or Darlene or Dawn or Rebecca, whoever your supervisor is, requires that you send them proof that you've done this task, then you will choose them as approval sent to, but you don't really have to. That is a very simple process. So for this consent for services event, we have 3 different labels that we have as options to upload. It's either a consent for services event, a consent to treatment, because we're using the same event for some of our other programs, or a custody order and agreement. So what we've did is we've limited this consent for services event to only the consent for services requirements that are available. And basically what you all will notice is that these forms are the exact same, but the title changes and the list of what can be uploaded to the event changes, right? So we're looking at consent for services because that's one of the most important ones. But if I open up the advanced directive one, let's say we have an advanced directive, we add them to the client record, it's the same thing. We're adding the same date, it's the date of the advanced directive. We're sending approval to optional if our supervisor asks us to. And then we're going to choose advanced directive. Now, the advanced directive also has this custody order agreement because it's possible that when we got an advanced directive secured for a client, we also got the custody order agreement for the client. So I just made this as the option that you can add both or just one of these events to this advanced directive.
So wait a minute. I'm sorry. Is this a jump in and answer question? Me, or just wait?
You go ahead.
No. The consent, consent. Go back to where you had the consent. So that is for foster care children, correct? Which one?
My understanding is the advanced directive is required for our clients as well. That we have to at least proof that we did the advanced directive.
No. I know that, but the custody order is that for the if they're in foster care children.
That's involved in the child welfare system. So they could be enrolled in a group home, independent living. They could be a foster care if they have a DSS worker and not their birth parent as their legal guardian. We might want to upload something to show who that person is.
All right, so the reason why you put it in that one?
Say it again.
Is it a reason why you put the custody order in the advanced directive file?
Because maybe their healthcare agent is their sister, but their DSS worker is their legal guardian, right? So maybe sister is listed on the advanced directive, but I need to know that the DSS worker is ultimately legally responsible for this client. So I just made it as an option. I could have just gave you just advanced directive, so there would not have been a possibility for you to add a legal document to tell who's the real legal guardian of this client.
Okay.
So it's just about flexibility for you all.
Okay. I do want to call out, Nadira, real quick while we're all gathered in our audit. There is a place on the ISA which asks, is there a custody agreement for the child? If that's checked, we should automatically be looking for a custody agreement or a note about it being ordered or whatever. Some note about why we don't have it, or that we have, or an actual custody agreement.
So do I have access to all this?
Okay, we're ready.
Okay. So there's not really much to show you all. Every event looks the exact same. You put a date in, you choose what the requirement listing is, and Leslie and I will make additional updates to these listings for each event as we know there is a need for it. For instance, CARF has a policy about client responsibilities. So you all are not familiar with the client responsibilities policy. You're familiar with rights and grievances. So there might need to be a second client responsibility agreement, or we might need to rename this to rights, responsibility, and grievance. So as that kind of information is clear to me, we will add additional things here. So don't be alarmed if you start seeing additional options being added to these lists for you all. The one single event.
If we see them additionally added, should we scan it separately and list it separately? Yeah. Yes, and we probably need to have an all bulletin when we should use. I know you guys will be working on it, but when this green light go, use it. If you'll send a note so that either to everybody or to me, so that we can know that okay, we're using this now.
So emergency contact is the only dynamic form. And I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm a little bit short. I got an incredible amount of work to do, and I'm not really trying to get into details about who's going to do what and how we're going to get these client files compliant. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you all how the system works, and I'm trying to get you all a procedure by 5 o'clock today that you all can follow independently. So those are my two objectives. This is the emergency contact form. And so this form is only a little bit different from the other forms in that you can actually add an emergency contact to the client's record. So in addition to you being able to add the date that you secured this emergency contact and you being able to identify emergency contact and then go to document link and upload the file, right? So you go to document link, you browse, you find whatever the document is listed. Let's see. You upload file and it's there, right? Whenever we see click to display, we know there's a document there. But in addition to that, from this emergency contact form, I can see that there were already 2 people listed as this person's emergency contact in the system. And I want to add another person. So if I want to add another third person as emergency contact, I can add Nadira. I'm going to add Nadira Smith. I'm going to say Nadira is a church member of this client. Yes, she's an emergency contact. She can pick up the client. She's an eligible visitor. And this will be updated in this client's medical record in their database. So we'll see that in 1 second. So you see here, let me just finish.
Mm-hmm.
So I added this emergency contact. So there was a document I uploaded. I added Nadira as this client's church member. If I go to this client's relationships section and collaterals, I'll see Nadira. I did this earlier for myself, so that's why I'm listed here twice as a church member. One is not emergency contact and the second one as. But this is where this is permanently saved to Big Picture's client's record. That Nadira is a collateral, have a relationship with this client. She's a church member. I can go in later and edit this client's contact with me. So I could, say they're not emergency contact anymore, or, they are. I can add additional information. So this is down the line. This is quality assurance. This is as we work on our service collaboration and our communication with clients. We can go back into the same person that we just entered and give more details about their relationship with the client. We could talk about how often they interact with the client, whether they can transport the client. I'm just giving you all a glimpse as to what happens when I added this emergency contact from this form to this client's record. So there was a question.
The document that we upload would be a mirror of those, of what we enter in the system. It should be a duplicate.
Yep. So my thought is that there's a 1-page emergency contact form that you all have, and it asks for 3 emergency contacts and a doctor, a physician, right? But those people are not into the system connected to the client. It's just a piece of paper that's uploaded to the client's file. So if you really want us to know that John is the brother and Mary is the cousin or whatever, you have to use the subform within this emergency contact for it to be in the system. So let's say I didn't choose somebody that I already knew. Let's say it was a random person and their last name was Client, and there's none of these people, right? So I just wanted to add a brand new person as a collateral to this client. Instead of selecting somebody that already exists, I would go to new. And then go to new, it would be, I just got to fill in what is required. So only thing that's required is first name, last name, and gender. I don't have to put in the address. I don't have to put in the marital status. I can come back and update, is all the other stuff. So I'm going to just say little picture. And I'm going to say this is his sister. So I added little picture client that did not exist in our database, not as a WIN staff person, not as another client, not as another, this person didn't exist before I just added them. And now I can add and say this is the sister of big picture. So I'm going to scroll down this list and find sister. And I can say this is emergency contact. And now this will also, little picture client will be added. And if you see in real time, this is being updated. You see how this sub-report just added little picture client.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I had entered in a phone number or an address or an email address for a little picture, it would also display here. So this is the only individual event that's unique in that it has a subform and a subform and a sub-report. This is the sub-report is where you can read only, and the subform is where you enter in the information. Everything else is just basically a date field and a label, and then you upload the document. It's that simple. So I could show you all, there's a psychiatric rehabilitation referral event. We separated this out because we might need to do this every year or so. So you'll be able to select the date of the referral and then upload it. Now, the only issue with this psychiatric rehabilitation referral is that the date of the referral is probably going to be before this intake date. And that is why I gave you all definitions around these dates on this in the front of this document. One thing I really just want you all to identify when I email you this document is I don't want you worried about these first 4 dates. These all come from the referral module, and I have not trained you all on how to use the referral module to process a client's admission. So ignore these 4 date fields. These other 4 date fields are existing in the client module, which is the module that you all are working with these active clients. And so what I put is a little definition of what these different date fields mean and where you can find them. Leslie and I are still working on the face sheets and the CAN reports accurately displaying these date fields. So I don't want to spend a lot of time in this meeting answering questions about these quite yet. But I'm just trying to give you all a heads up. The main focus is to upload these documents to client record, right? So yeah, PRP referral, you have that one. You have a scan psychosocial assessment, and I'm going to have Leslie also add scan psychiatric evaluation. So you'll be able to upload either a psychosocial assessment or a psychiatric evaluation. And I'm still working on her editing this event. So basically she needs to take off this duration and location and enter it with, and she needs to add the approval sent to so they can look uniform. I want all of these events to look uniform. The same with the service provider release of information. So that's one part of, so that is all the individual events, and you all don't want me to show you this PRP orientation compliance packet event. But if I did show you the event, even for clients who already have this event completed, there are more options for more documents to be uploaded to that event. So it's going to be an optional section 2 of the procedure manual. But per Tracy's directives, we'll skip it.
Can you go back to that, Nadira?
Go back to it.
Yeah, right here. Wait a minute. So where you going? Nope. All right, right there. The media The media request, where's that going to go? Well, that's what I wanted to do too. Let's roll down the whole list, because what IO's directive was to me is to make sure everything on this table of contents is ready. Or when will it be? Like, I have to report that we have a space for each one of these things. So can we go down the list in order? I just know it by heart, right? So
tell me where the media photo release should be at. See, these are things that I added to this whole compliance packet. So here's where so these are the things that you all not seeing. You're not seeing where the mission acceptance is. You're not seeing where the media release and I have a photo release. You're not seeing where these 3 documents are. That's because they're all labels for this orientation compliance packet.
Okay.
So if you all are saying that, so that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about the place where you lump it all as one PDF, but you have broken it out underneath compliance, the compliance intake packet.
Right.
So that's fine.
So previously, Malika was just using this intake compliance packet to upload everything to this one event. She can still do that, but in addition to that, you can also individually upload these other documents as well.
So we're not going to still do that anymore, but we are going to just make sure we have so this is a space for all these things. So the face sheet, the system generates, I'm going to start from the table of contents. Everybody here is familiar with this, right? Mm-hmm. So the face sheet, the system generates itself. And I'll demonstrate or try to let Nadira go. So I'll show you guys where that is, where you can access the face sheet. The picture of the client, there's already a space for that. The medical assistance card is under this one, Nadira.
Let me show you this. So let me go to the benefit assignment so I can show you all the funding documentation. But this is what I'm gonna need from you, Tracy. I'm gonna need you to tell me which of these events need to also include some of those events that we just saw in that orientation compliance packet. So if you're saying that the media photo release should also be an option for consented services, or you're saying that admission acceptance letter should also be uploaded with this consent for services event. You know what I mean?
I don't know that I said that because I don't understand what you just said. I just want to make sure there's a place for everything, and if it needs to have a workflow attached to it, that it's its own event. I can tell you about that. But where we put it on, that's the only thing I think matters, is whether we need a workflow so that it will remind us later if we need to renew it.
So did I hear you say that you all are not going to be doing this event at all, and you're not even going to be coming back to this event for the ones that's already completed and adding more stuff?
At first, because we misunderstood. We thought that it was still like it was before. It was just a place that you put a PDF that has all those documents together, but you're showing us now that there's a separate name. They're all labeled out and broken out. So we will use this, right? We don't have to, well, the consent for services is an event, yes, and you can do a workflow, all these things. Right, Alita, you are thinking the same thing. I'm thinking that I thought it was one. You're showing us that it's under intake compliance package, but you now have it all broken out. So we will be using it.
But I just want to use one place. I don't want it.
So that's the question. That's the question. This is going back to the agenda. You know, I started off by saying you all have 2 options. You would either do this orientation compliance packet, or you would do these 8 individual documents. You wouldn't do both. There's no need for you to do an orientation compliance packet if you are individually breaking it all out. So if you're saying that you're going to choose to do this individual document and not do orientation compliance, I need to make sure that all the stuff that's labeled here is an individual document or is labeled in one of those individual documents.
So what we need is wherever it can be its own separate event to generate workflows is the one that we need to use, and we should only be using like one.
I don't know if that y'all
understand. Is there benefit in having 2 choices, Nadira? Because I don't know enough about how the system works to know if what you're suggesting is advantageous. What's the benefit in having 2 places to choose from?
So you can run a report on orientation compliance packet and see all the clients who have orientation compliance packet, and then drill down to the individual documents that's uploaded to the orientation compliance packet. You can run a report on all of these different events. All of these different events. You cannot run a report on admissions acceptance letter because it's not a separate event. You cannot run a report on photo media release. It's not a separate event. But if you run a report on the photo media release, which is a label within this consent for services, you can get to that document and you can see that it's compliant in the client's record. So you can only run reports on event names, but then the event names drills down into the requirement or services that's included in that.
That sounds consistent with what we said. If we didn't have to run a report on it, it didn't require workflow, and it could be lumped in with something else. I thought that is how we laid it out. It's just that we need a place for everything.
Right.
So I agree. We don't want choices. The way it looks like, I did not understand at the start when you were telling us how you wanted to show us. I didn't understand what you were saying. Now I'm understanding that we can look. You have workflow. You have events to the things that need workflows. The things that don't need workflows are found as underneath the event. But we have a place for everything.
Yep. So I mean, I'm thoroughly confused about whether or not you are going to use this, orientation compliance document packet, or do I need to make sure that all those requirements are part of one of these other events? So that's where I'm still confused. But we can get back to that. Let me just show you real quick for the benefit assignment. This is where you would upload the medical, the Beacon Health information. So this looks familiar to you all. You normally come here to add the client's, plan, the medical assistance number. You scroll all the way down. You do the billing authorization update. The only difference is that we now added this upload documents subform, scan subform. And again, we're being consistent so that you all can get familiar with how we upload documents. So the same thing, you click on the ellipsis, and now you have these different choices, right? So these are all of what I assume are consumer funding documentation. And so that will be under the third section, consumer funded documentation of this procedure. And, you upload what you have, and what you don't have, you don't upload. There's no way that I can force you all to always upload the medical assistance card and the eligibility verification, but then make entitlement documentation optional, right? So the real issue.
What's that entitlement documentation?
So that could be SSI, disability, that could be food stamps, that could be any proof that this client needs entitlement. It's a generic label for anything else.
Okay. All right, hold on, don't click off, because I promise I will let her know. I'm checking off as we're going, each thing. And I promise I will let her know that we have a place for each thing. I see the EBS, medical assistance card, medical care releases. What's that?
What is what?
The medical care release.
That might be something that TFC uses.
Okay. Okay. Do you have, okay. Go ahead. I'm still checking off stuff, but I've checked off a lot. Go ahead.
Okay. You're probably going to want to ask some questions about, let me just show you this other. So this is not what you all are going to be doing. This is something that I would train the clinicians to do. But there is, oh, Leslie, where is the external clinical evaluation? Here we go. There's also going to be an external clinical evaluation. It's not done yet. But anyway, this is going to include more stuff. It's going to include this, clinical summaries, discharge plans, general correspondence. It's also going to include, another authorization, another referral form, a RA, a IRP, but also just have like general or correspondence. So these are additional things that will be available as both external evaluations and as plan development events.
Okay. And if you could, if I could call off the things that are left that I don't have checks, just so you could show me where they are. I won't go through the clinical documents, but just the administrative parts that the people in this room would be responsible for uploading. Then I think Malik, I know we have to come back to that conversation about where you are putting things, whether event or their own separate. That whole conversation, Malika and I are not clear. Maybe we gotta see what you built out and try it for ourselves to really get a feel. But so client orientation checklist. Orientation checklist.
So the PRP orientation checklist, that event is not available to Malika right now, but it's available here. Like it's here. That event is changing a lot because of CARF. It needs to be upgraded. So are you saying that you just need to have an orientation checklist uploaded to a client record?
We could put it in.
We do need to upload it to the sign document.
We do need to upload it, but
Put it under consent for services.
We want it under consent for services. We want to be able to upload the consent for services, custody agreement, and the PRP orientation checklist in this event.
Yeah.
So,
okay, what's next?
clients' rights and grievances. I think that's all.
That's about it.
Okay.
But you're going to need another one when CARF starts, right?
Right,
So
I'm gonna add a second requirement.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. PHI, the protected health information.
I think I got 2 requirements here. So I got custody agreement, PHI, or you can do the service provider release of information. If you don't want to do that, it's a separate event. You can upload that with this event.
Protected health is in there. And service provider, right? Protected health is in there. All right. Orientation assessment.
So that is part of the orientation compliance packet. Where else would you want it?
Nope,
Just one place. Right. If we say just one place, because we only have to do it once, it seems like it could be under there, right?
Yep.
Is that my thinking, my logic right? Okay. So that makes sense. The orientation assessment and the entitlement assessment are there. Great.
And the ISA is there, correct?
ISA is there, admission acceptance letter is there, service collaboration, appeal letter is there. Yep. I'm just going to add everything that's there.
Service collaboration appeal is there. Provider treatment plans. That was the external treatment plans that we might get from somebody else. That was under that, right?
I'll see what you do.
You saying external provider treatment plan?
Yes, that might come to us as part of the orientation packet because there's somebody else working with the client. Like we might have a psychosocial and a psychiatric eval, and I think you already showed us that there was a place for that. It's from live in the clinical world.
So are you saying that I have a scan psychosocial assessment event? I know I need to add scan psychiatric evaluation. You also want me to add scan treatment plans to this event?
Yes. Treatment plans could come. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Somatic health review. Was that with the orientation assessment?
Somatic health review. I don't have that at all. Would you like it under the orientation compliance packet?
Yes, we only need it once. But we do need a place to upload the physical if the somatic health review indicates that there's a medical issue, and then the physical has to have a workflow attached to it because we have to get it regularly. I think it's yearly for adults and or one or the other. It's like yearly or twice or every 2 years for adults and youth.
I think it makes sense for somatic health review to be its own separate event, and I think it makes sense that it should have physical exam, or it could be add medical documentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would we be able to, so let's say we request a physical. I know Carf and Komar both say, show us that you requested it. So we'd be able to upload that request as on the add medical documentation thing there, right?
At somatic health referral. Is that what you're asking for?
Right.
Like a
yeah, referral too, because sometimes we have to say we need to help you find a doctor if they don't have one. They're very strong with us about that. But also, just like a request that we sent that requested the physical from the doctor. Documentation that we attempted to get the medical documentation. So somatic health requests.
Are you talking about as you are processing a prospective person as a client, or are you talking about an already active client?
Both actually. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I need you not to be talking about both. Never mind. I'll let you do
Because we should do it at orientation, and we should do it for current clients. If we don't have the physicals on hand, we have to at least show that we asked for them.
So in the referral module, there's this whole external referral option where we can track who we're referring clients to and how long it's taken and what the results are. But that's referral module, and I'm trying to stay focused on client modules with you all today.
Okay, that's great, because that's going to be very helpful. But even after we have a client in our care, if we knew they had a somatic health issue, we're responsible for getting a physical regularly. A copy of their physical, a documentation that they're getting medical care.
Okay.
And we are supposed to have treatment goals that go along with some of their somatic health issues. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the only, I mean, when you say all of that though, it just makes me question whether this somatic health review needs to be dynamic like the emergency contact is, right? So, for instance, do we need to enter in the doctors? You know, I need to pull in the doctors if we have it on file, and I need to pull in the medications, and I need to pull in diagnosis. So, I'm going to say health practitioners. Report and subform medication sub-report. And the only other reason why I'm kind of questioning this is because we already have this drafted in the client module, because my thought is that this is the DSW's responsibility or the clinical department's responsibility to do this on a regular basis. And so I'm logged in as Malika, and I cannot show it to you all. So, and I was trying to be logged in as Malika because my stuff is overwhelming. I will confuse y'all.
I'm probably in between the two of you.
Say it again.
I said I'm tight somewhere in the middle between you and Malika. Viewers, less stuff. More than Malika, but less than you.
So we were building the somatic health compliance form, and this would allow us to upload documents. I do need to tell Leslie what to limit, because we shouldn't be able to upload all 92 of these documents. But there's clearly a physical and PPD. There's a physical exam. We probably need to add like other medical, whatever. But this is more dynamic than the emergency contact because it's pulling in the diagnosis, There's no medications on file for this client, but it will pull in that. You could actually enter in additional medications for this client. It would pull in their health practitioner. You could enter all this. So anyway, my thought is that this is required. It's a real assessment that needs to be done as part of orientation. So do you all want this as part of intake, or is this like, if I can call this somatic health compliance, and then, so anyway, this is just to your question about, making sure that this leads to treatment plan goals and interventions. This document was intended for that.
Yes.
So what you're asking for is not all of that, right? You just want to be able to upload documents.
No, I like what you just showed us. That would make us compliant in that area, because we really are responsible for having that level of detail about somatic health. And we've been hit before about somatic health, and we've made some strides with our inventory, but I think this would bring us all the way to a place of compliance and thoroughness.
So are you saying that Malika, Alicia, or Placida, or Danielle would be entering in all of this information?
Well, you said some of it would come as a sub-report, right? So it would be from other places where it was already entered. Malika, okay, the people you just named would be uploading. So, okay, there's the uploading of the paper, which is where we are right now, but I know that as you build out this, we're going to actually answer these questions. I don't know the workflow of it. Maybe I don't know who will start it. Will it be the DSW at orientation? Will it be administration?
But the questions are the same as their question that's in the form.
Right, the questions are on the form. So we do have to enter that. I'm not sure who is going to enter it, but we do have to enter that information. I don't know if I'm answering the question.
Because I'm trying to make a decision about whether I am moving this to the consents and orientation section where all of your other forms are, or am I keeping this here in the client assessments area? Or is it two different somatic health events, and you all's events that's under consents orientation is not as dynamic, doesn't have as much detail as its compliance review does?
Well, wouldn't it be two, because it would only be if they answer yes to question 10. It wouldn't be for every client. So it will only be for the clients that answer that said yes to question 10. And the form will be uploaded, or you would just answer these questions, which is coming directly from the form, for the most part.
The numbering. That's a question that says, all right, do you have somatic health needs, or no, you have just medical disorder, something like that.
And let me just say this, like, if you all want this more dynamic one that has all these questions, it's going to take me and Leslie even longer to get it to you over in this consistent orientation, because this is like, I got to go through CARF, and I got to go back through the somatic health, I got to make sure that all the questions are there. Like, I want to change all these yes and no. So it's going to, if y'all need that in order to get started on upload and everything else, we're talking about another 3 to 5 days. Of work.
Well, I think this is maybe a conversation you and Al could have, because I don't feel competent enough about the building of the system and what you just shared, what it means if you give it to us now and your workload and all. I don't know how to prioritize that part, but I do know that as some, so from my perspective, we could upload the paper that we have right now as an interim, like we're doing in some of the other parts of this packet, and then come back to it. But you might say, no, I don't want to come back to it. I just want to do it one way now or the other. But I think you and Al might best have that conversation.
All right, so the decision I'm going to make is that I'm going to talk to Al about it, and I'm not going to make this a dynamic form for you all. No, I can't. I can just at least pull in the health practitioner sub-report and sub-form, but I'm not going to pull in any of those questions. So 1 through 10 is not going to be on there.
Okay. But we do have a place to upload it, so I'm checking that off the list. I mean, I know you're going to put it on there. You put it down as a to-do item. And I wrote that note. Next, I had educational reports. I don't remember talking about that before, but it's on here.
What do you say?
Educational reports, like report cards.
Oh, yeah, I always get those too. Not a lot of DSWs do it, but I do it because I
Y'all,
do it.
y'all get that with admissions and intake documents?
We should.
Um,
I get it only because I give out rewards. I make copies and put it in the file.
so to me, that's
I don't know how to put on here. I guess I know it is, I don't know about if should is a strong word. I don't remember seeing in Comar that you had to have that, but I know it gives you the complete picture for the client. So it probably is. If we could just have a place to put that on there if we have it.
Yeah, because of the education inventory.
I'm thinking that should go under with the orientation compliance packet event.
Yep, I like that.
And you saying it's called an education report?
Educational reports.
Is there an educational/vocational report, or is there a separate vocational report?
I think that's a good idea, vocational, because if it's an adult, that might be, I don't know what we have there. Maybe a kid who's like 20, I don't know, somebody who needs a work permit, or I don't know what kind of documents, but I think that covers it if you put education and vocational. Talking about, IO has on here educational reports as of something we might have under service collaboration, so she's putting a space for that.
Yeah, and it should be an IEP.
Oh, right.
That's what it should be.
IEPs.
Could it be report cards too?
It could be report cards for regular children that have IEPs. It's got to be IEPs.
Okay.
But it should be report cards too. But it shouldn't be other stuff. That's it.
IEPs. It shouldn't be vocational documents also.
No.
So,
it's not educational.
are there any vocational documents that we might need? No.
We don't need
Not
vocational.
for adults?
No, but the only thing vocational that we might need would be if the client is indoors, and that would be under collaboration, and that would also be under for like entitlements.
But what if it's in college and they're utilizing the disability program in college? Wouldn't that? Because we would need to pull their IEP in
They
order
don't
for
have
me to.
IEPs in college.
I know, but I'm saying when I supported the Djembe with his, I used his high school IEP to get him signed up for the disability program at the community college, so we don't have time tested.
So can we just have a space for both? Educational reports and vocational. No, if you don't use it, you don't use it. It's not required, but
You know what I'm saying, Malika? How they had the disability. They don't have IEP, but they had a disability room where they could.
Right. But they use if they initially use that, they can't use that as something to continue with giving them because they have to have it's a different kind of
the therapist had to fill out the other part. But that's how I got him started, was through his high school IEP.
okay. So we're gonna have a place for both. Can you make it a separate place though, maybe?
I mean, if you're going to use it like that, you're probably not going to get vocational stuff. You're just going to get educational.
When I call it vocational assessment, that's what they normally are.
No, she has this part upstairs. She needs this stuff.
Course quality. That's somatic health. No, okay. I know the clinical documents. Maybe you could just call out to me, yes or no. I just will make sure. You don't have to show us because the people in this room don't need to know right at this moment. We'll do cross training where we all know everything. But right now, so we can let you go and so we can take a run through the rehab. The ISA you already showed us the rehabilitation assessment. All right. Right.
Yes.
The IRP.
Signed IRP. Yep.
Incident reports. Incident reports.
Nope.
Okay. Contact notes we already know. And concurrent IRPs and RAs.
Is a concurrent RA different than a rehabilitation assessment?
RA, concurrent RA, yes, there's just the initial and then the concurrent. So
you want initial and you want
clinical. I think they're built the same. The initial and the concurrent RA are built the same, right? They have the same questions. It's just about
you just check them. Let's say initial and let's say concurrent.
Right.
It's okay. I just have it labeled as rehabilitation assessment, and I'm not going to do initial concurrent. And then the concurrent IRP is called the signed IRP. So that's where either the initial or the concurrent, it's just a signed IRP that we want to upload back to the system.
Okay. Miscellaneous clinical notes and discharge summary. I see discharge. And general correspondence probably covers. Miscellaneous clinical notes. She's got a bill. We talked about that almost like a long conversation. She had a very complicated way. It was something like upload the somatic health, somatic scan document. And then. But Nadir, when we finish that conversation about the somatic health, we have the place for the somatic health inventory. Then we also have a place, just a place to park the physical.
We got physical, PPD. What else you need?
You don't need any of that. You just need the physical. There's a date to trigger it. You need a date for those and a date for the
We're talking about that. All right. Now, we probably to go to the benefits section because you were fast on this, and I just want to make sure it's a place for all the things in it. On the section 5 of my notebook. Tell me when you're ready.
So, another thing is that it's important that you all log into the MyEvolve system and make sure that you all can see these sub-reports on the benefit assignment screen now, and make sure that you can see the changes to the consents orientation events. So it won't have to be, emails and text messages of I can't see something, and then I don't have a screenshot to show what it is you can't see. So if everyone could take a moment to log in to the MyEvolve system and navigate to benefit assignment and make sure you can see this upload document.
Will I be able to access it now, Nadir?
Everybody. Yep.
Oh,
so Alicia and Placida have the same worker role as Malika. However, you all have an administrative worker role, and then you have your FSM, I think. Yeah, I need you to check Alicia and Placida, and I need it.
So Danielle should also have access. Yes, that's more of a question. I believe Danielle's going to be continuing to support with uploading documents. On that our decision. What happened? Oh, I put something here and then put it. I'm trying to get back on.
And Desiree too. I don't know if Desiree's going to be helping with uploading documents. I need her to check too.
So you know what? Her and her staff they need to upload the pictures and medical assistance card.
So yeah, she needs to be able to get to benefits assignment and
her and
pictures is under demographics. So I know they already have access.
Yes, the FSMs and myself.
Say it one more time.
FSMs and myself. I'm not the only one. When they get it from the DSW or the client, they need to go in and upload it to EHR. All FSMs and myself.
I need you to check. Hold on. You want them to upload benefit assignment stuff?
Nope. Pictures of the client and MA cards that they receive at orientation.
That's this stuff right here.
I'm going to see if I can.
Hold on. Yeah, no, just she's just saying the medical assistance card and a picture, but I don't know if the medical assistance card might pose an issue if they don't have access to the benefit assignment.
Right. FSM's not going to be able to do it.
Navigate here. You gotta go on the side. Bring it. I thought we were gonna let Nadira finish first when we work. So
She said, can we just check and make sure we can see it? Log in real quick. I can see it on mine. So go to benefit
Let me know
assignment.
when I can chime in about those pictures in the mail calls.
Okay,
It's not just me.
so Nadira is saying FSMs cannot get to the benefit assignment, so they're not going to be able to do the MA card. That might be something that the administrators in the
Leslie, are you still there?
so go to planning. What is this for?
We just want to make sure she's benefit. Yeah. But is it called display board? We're all checking Nadira right now.
Except me, when my semester be checking.
You should go on to log on. I can guide you through this.
You gonna bring it back to me? If I'm not, if I had, if this doesn't have.
So they don't have access to all the clients. What's your one client? It would just be our client.
Yeah. Hit edit. Yeah, she only had access to her client. She only supposed to.
No, she not. If she got the clients and
Me? I'm so
Her DSW clients. I thought you meant her CISA clients.
No.
That's what you're saying. All right, cross that out.
go out.
Okay. So you go to consent. So you go to the navigation side. Then you can go to consent. And hold on.
Because orientation compliance package.
We're in the right place.
Face sheet, demographics.
We went somewhere different just now. Go back to the assignment. And then push the edit button again.
This is.
But I got it.
Oh, you don't have to edit.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're working on Placido. Let me know when you're ready. And I have Alicia has an issue.
Oh, she's working on that?
No, she's working on Placido now.
Oh, okay. Bless
I
you.
should be fine. So, Placido, you have 2 logins. So this is your
No, Placido don't know she had too long.
That's my P. Braswell.
your P. Braswell.
Okay. Is it the same password?
Capital password 17.
Go under that one, because this one is not letting me do.
Yeah, because I thought that. Yes, that's like my laptop's not
Alicia, your username is Alicia Staff. I'm sorry. Alicia Staff.
Oh, wait. Alicia, Staff.
So you got 2 usernames. The one you have been using is for your FSM
And
your DSW role. This one is for your admissions administrator. So Alicia Staff is your admissions person.
And what is it, password 17?
Yep, password 17.
Yeah, but it was set up differently.
I'm sorry.
Mine doesn't look like
So I gotta change this one to make it look like the other ones. Right?
I don't remember how this is. You bored, Malika? No.
Danielle, is Danielle okay?
Danielle, you're not here. I know.
Yeah, I'm here.
I turned around, but she's on there. Okay. I'm like, where's Danielle? Okay. That's a reason.
So,
I'm gonna meet y'all for 1 second. Danielle, are you able to navigate to the benefit assignment and see that there's a sub form on that page?
I'm on the benefit assignment. Where do I find the sub form?
It should say upload docs halfway through down the page.
Is it on the left side?
It's in the middle of it. So, if you,
I'm not seeing it. Hold on.
can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So I went to edit. I clicked on this edit icon.
Oh, okay. So I click on the edit. Okay, hold on. Let me try that.
I'm on. Yes, I'm on. Oh, and I just don't know how to fix this thing.
Nadira, I'm still having a hard time locating it.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
When you edited and opened it, you don't see these three things?
Okay, hold on. Let me try that. See.
Let me see if I can see your screen. Did you get okay. You're not. I'm not seeing it for you. Okay. Do me a favor. Close out of this.
Close out of this too?
Okay. No. Click on New Manual Event. Open up a new manual event. Top left hand. Yep. And open that up. Scroll down. All right. So there's a problem. Leslie, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
So Danielle has a clinical supervisor worker role, and she can't see the scanned document subform that's on the benefit assignment. So Danielle,
okay. You logged in with her, or?
No, I'm looking at her screen. I gave her the screen, and I can see.
Oh, so we just so this is just.
Are you
Danielle,
in production or development?
You're in production, right, Danielle?
Guys, is ready. You want to
I did it in production.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm in the production site.
Okay, close this out real quick. You see the URL at the top?
That's strange.
Can I see the URL? No, you're in development, Danielle.
Wow.
In the development environment. I hope you haven't been doing any real work here. So nobody should be using a development environment ever again. Development is not available for anybody that's name is not Nadira or Leslie Roberts.
Okay, so this is the wrong. So this is the wrong one. So that's the one I had saved on here.
So
Right click and remove that.
So click back on your favorites. That star, the star that you had, and right click on Development My Evolve. Right click, delete. Now go to that other where it says Welcome to Evolve CS. That is your production environment. This is the live environment. So log in here.
I'm in. You told me that you should right. This just
Simon,
Oh,
the
that's
first
like-
And now click on the client module, like the client icon.
You want too much.
Yeah. You're good.
Just
What was
Sorry,
Placid's
locate it.
issue? Yep. Mhm. And you want to go back to benefit assignment, and yep. Did Placid had a challenge?
No, actually, Tracy helped me navigate.
Okay. And
Can you hear me?
what about Alicia? I see it now, Danielle. So you're all good.
Personal information.
She's working.
The benefit assignment. Oh, go ahead, Alicia.
Choose a
Select.
Oh, everybody has access to the benefit assignment subform.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, what about when you go to consents orientation? I just want to make sure that you have access to.
I didn't know we were supposed to bring our laptops to this meeting.
I've been logged in as you, Malika. So I've been testing as you. So I'm pretty sure that you have access to everything.
She just wanted to make sure your profile was set up correctly and you could access it, so we wouldn't have to
Thank
solve
you.
later.
So, all right, Alicia's good, and I just don't want to forget to go over section 5 of the table of contents once we finish making sure we have everything. You just told us to do a thing and I missed it. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
All right. So the next thing is I want Alicia, Placida, and Danielle to navigate to consents orientation. And I need you to confirm that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That you got 10 of these. You got these same 10 events that Malika has. Tell me if you have less than 10 or more than 10.
Yeah. I have 10.
1, 2, 3,
You have 10. That was Placida. Okay.
8, 9, 10. I had 10.
I thought you said 15.
That was Alicia.
Yes, I had 10.
Okay. What about you, Danielle?
It looks like I have 11, but just let me recount. I have 11.
You have 11. Can you identify what you have extra that's not on the screen? Isn't it external clinical evaluation?
Hold on, I'm having trouble reading your screen because it's really small.
It's probably the
Let me just read what I have.
Okay.
I have advanced directive, authorization update, client's rights, responsibilities and grievance, consent for services, emergency contacts, PHI confidentiality, PRP orientation checklist, PRP orientation compliance packet, psychiatric rehabilitation referral, scan psychosocial assessment.
So I got it. So you just have the orientation checklist in addition to the compliance packet. Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Leslie, if you can add the orientation, PRP orientation checklist, make it accessible for QA staff and what's Desiree's role? Family service.
Orientation compliance.
No, the checklist, PRP orientation checklist. So this is for, what am I talking about? QA staff, administrative worker role, and then the service coordination manager. If you give them 3 access to the orientation checklist. You got that?
I'm doing it right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Tracy, I'm ready back for you.
Okay. So I saw the EBS. What about the pre-service contact attempt? Remember we talked about that document? Contact attempt form. So we have one for clients, and we do that around. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Pre-service contact attempt form. It's just a document that you all want to upload to the client's record, right?
Right, and they could go pre-service, what the FSMs fill out if they had trouble getting the orientation done, and it comes back with the orientation packet, and it says why we didn't meet the time frame. Contact the temp form, and we just want a place to upload that on here.
But I remember but I also remember we didn't come up with where we were using. I mean, were we using the one on the EHR, or we were using the one?
We're gonna upload the paper right now.
So that they
Until the other modules are built out, we're gonna upload the paper.
Okay, good. So from now on, okay, so then let me just make sure this. Okay, I'll work it out in my head. It is going to be my responsibility, Placida's, and Alicia's responsibility to do the count.
The system will count for us once it's built out. We'll be able to pull a report.
I ain't talking about when
You're talking about right now.
When we accept orientation packets, we need to count out if it has been more than 5 days. We need to have a contact attempt.
Oh, yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, yes, but it's initially Desiree or Placida or Alicia's job to have those because they know it was more than 5 days. So they would be making sure that they got it, and you could double check and balance to that.
But Desiree wasn't part of our last meeting because she's not in here right now. She needs to get this.
Yeah. So we're gonna put that. Can I put a note because Nadia is trying to get off this call? So the way we're moving in this meeting is Nadia showing us everything she built, and then we still need to go back and because they still don't know where these things are. We're just making sure that they're
okay. So
When Malika and Desiree meet,
she tells Malika, she gives Malika an update, and she puts it on the offload. I put it in the notes on the offload.
now what about the other areas?
But she's also supposed to get the contact attempt form at the
Yeah, that should be, but that's not Malika, that's her
Right.
role to do.
Right, she got to give it to Malika.
What about the other people? Because what if we come to a management meeting and Al asks what's the status? So wait a minute, can always go to the notes, right? What do we do for the people that didn't make it into or EHR to the orientation? We somehow got to count for those people.
Qualified.
Oh, I think she's supposed to keep a folder.
Can we? Yes, that's what ended up.
So do I need to give her at that point when we discharge them? It's cold to me. When we discharge them, like so when she said we want to dismiss them, then I need to give her my stuff so she can keep them. You made up we dismissed the client. What you do with them now?
Wait a minute, let me finish. It's only like 3 more items so we can let Nadia go.
We should keep them until EHR is built out. Because then it would be kept on EHR. No, but I'm saying we keep them in 2 different places. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, verification of PRP services. That's provider connect authorization details. This is the heading. So authorization approval sheet. Authorization approval sheet. That's the approval that we got approval for authorization. I
think Malika said she,
you want me to show you one?
She printed it out. She screenshot it and printed it out.
There's a screenshot
Right,
before the letter is.
I'm just making sure that we have a place for it. I don't want to get into the procedure yet because I want to just let Nadia go so she can tell us if yes, there's a place for it, and we can all come back together.
Yeah, who's going to show us how to upload it to the EHR?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do after we let her go.
Do we have a separate place for that grievance form?
Yeah.
Can I have a piece of that?
Authorization approval sheet. Yeah, that's how the benefits. Authorization request. There's also an approval sheet. I need there's an approval and a request, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we need a place for the approval.
It's a pending too.
No.
Well,
And the benefits page.
the request says
The
pending.
benefit, coverage.
Your fridge is gone, gotta keep putting.
Are you saying we need a place for the pending sheet?
No, the pending says it on the request.
Right, that's on the request, it says
Yeah.
pending.
The guys that are gone and good people now.
Well, I'm just trying to get
Let's
an
keep
idea
on
about
uploading
what,
them.
we can talk about that, but right now,
No,
y'all ain't
yeah.
keeping that one here.
You need a place so
Well,
it can
you
be
see,
done. You just heard it.
It's approval says pending, right?
Right.
I mean, request says pending,
The request says pending.
so that's what I just asked.
Okay.
Right?
I
Is
think
that on,
that's
is
enough.
that on your table?
Just because we all overdid.
But what is it, the approval? There's a request and a,
Request is pending.
approval. She's got requests up here. Actually, your thing only says approval, but we need both.
Oh, I got the same thing, but now.
Okay, and then we already saw the benefits page. And then the co-pay page, which will be a scanned document.
Okay, let me write it in. Where would it go?
Right here, above the line.
If you want to,
Authorization request. Yes. What you say, Deacon Health authorization request. Is this the, no, we need something about the co-pay. A place to put that document that. Okay.
What's in that?
Chrissy, did I hear you say something about a verification of PRP services?
That was the title for all those things I just named. That was the heading title for the authorization, approval, and request, benefit page, and co-pay. I mean, that's just how it is on this content. You can disregard that. I say thank you.
So there's not a document label that you need that says verification of PRP services, as long as we have these. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 things, yes. Okay, we already had the authorization request documents. What is the authorization request documents? That's separate from that. Oh, that is that. That's the same thing. It's just below. So the request should come before the approval. That's all.
Yes.
Okay,
Did I
so
do that? I put the.
it's right here. Here's the approval and here's the request. We should just go.
Oh, these the same thing?
And the last thing
I
is
thought I had it.
notice of authorization. Oh, that one pager that shows us the period that they got,
The letter.
the letter, authorization
Approval
letter.
letter.
It can be authorization or reauthorization, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably under your benefit, under your benefit.
What are we calling this?
We gotta put them in the benefit
I call
column.
letters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it authorization approval letter. That's what I call it.
We're saying there's an authorization approval sheet and an authorization approval letter. Is that correct?
Yes, because there's a
Oh, yeah.
difference. When it first happens, the letter's not created.
Right.
But
We have to wait for.
you have to wait for the letter sometimes.
I've still been waiting for 2 months for one letter. It can't generate it.
Oh.
Who
Okay.
does the authorization approval? Is that clinical? Did I say that?
Initially.
Well, you said we were gonna talk about that.
Okay. Can you, yeah, right, there you go. That's what I was about to say. Re-auth. Two.
That makes me nervous.
Concurrent. Okay,
It's too sweet. It's probably not a good one.
all right.
Probably.
We
So
did
this
it.
is probably not as good for you because it tastes
Did we
like
do
sugar.
it?
We did it.
We did it.
We did the part with Nigeria. And then
Thank
we
you,
just had to-
Nadira.
Yes.
Okay. So you all can expect, if not by 7 p.m. tonight, by 9 a.m. tomorrow, a PDF document that will walk you through how to upload these things. Should we schedule another check-in for how the process is going and mitigate any issues, maybe in 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Maybe in a week, because if anything's not working, we won't be able to roll fast enough to get all the clients and that reauthorization, you know. Well, we're not doing it till reauth, so, well, but new clients.
Right, are we starting today?
We started to, well, she needs to finish the procedure, so she's asking us till 9 o'clock tomorrow. And she still got a couple of things that she didn't have.
And EHR shut down.
So what's 2 weeks? She was just saying, when should we check in? Again, to make sure everything's working.
We need to check in. Turn it away. This is too far.
Maybe we can check in with that and then tell her what the problems, generate a list of any issues we're having.
I'm coming to sit with Malika and work with her.
We will meet with ourselves and let you know, send you screenshots of things that may or may not work.
I'm going to turn on the phone.
And if that requires a meeting, we can have a meeting. Wait, are you there, Nikki?
Hey, Tracy. So, Tracy, you're going to be my point of contact as far as feedback with this procedure or anything that needs to be mitigated. So you'll make sure that it's documented in an email to me and that there's screenshots. So if it's a quick mitigation, Leslie and I can correct it. If it's a more detailed conversation, then we'll coordinate a time that we all can meet again. Okay, sounds good. So, ladies,
send us this recording as well as the PDF?
I'm sorry?
You're going to send us the recording of the meeting along with the PDF? Can you record the meeting?